Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. Welcome back to the show. We are so excited to have our next guest joining us, Tina Wankey. It's exciting to have her here. We've been speaking the past few months. I've learned a lot about the work she does, and at Roots of Healing, she's really able to help so many. So first and foremost, let me welcome Tina to the show. Tell us a little bit about what it is that you do.
Yes, so I am a holistic therapist and wellness coach. So I look at the whole person, trying to figure out what's going to best serve them to get them back to the a place where their body and mind are all functioning together, working well. So I look at what's the root issue, what's going on, and is it nutrition? Is it their mindset? Is it their energy field and what's happening in their energy
Yeah.
field? So
Mm-hmm.
take and look at it from a multi-modality approach
Yeah.
and figure out what's going to work the best for the individual person.
And it's rootsofhealing.org, correct? Best form of
It,
contact?
yes, it
All
is. That is
right.
correct.
And I know today we're going to talk more about, becoming power over your health is what we do, and about some of the
Mhm.
work that you do. But you also brought a very special guest with us today. Please introduce yourself, Miss Jeannie.
Hi, my name is Jeannie Gerke, like Genie in a Bottle. I am the owner of Dreams of Genie LLC. I'm a wellness advocate, and what I do is basically help families and individuals with tools for natural health.
Beautiful. Well, we're excited to have you here as well. And I would love to know a little bit more, a little bit about, how the two of you, met. Would you mind sharing?
Yeah, so Jeannie and I met, I think it was when I started going into private practice and networking groups. So that was like 10 years ago. And then Jeannie went through my 90-day challenge that I have. So she's got experience in that area, but we've stayed connected throughout all of these years and just have a lot in common with both of us having those wellness backgrounds.
Perfect. And can I ask a little bit about, the 90-day challenge and the networking and
Yeah,
talk about that?
yeah. So the 90-day challenge is about resetting the body. So it's looking at getting the body to a place where your metabolism is functioning better by getting rid of all the sugars in your in your diet and the foods that you're eating, and looking at your psychology, your connection to food, why you're going to certain food, and looking at breaking that connection. So we spend 90 days going through a process that allows for you to be the most successful in completing the 90 days and to bring about new awareness in your food choices that you have.
Got it. And for further information, I know we mentioned going to your website, rootsofhealing.org. Jeannie, is there
Yes.
somewhere we should go for you?
Yes, it is dreamsofgenie.com.
All right. Well, let's talk more about this importance of clean eating for
Yeah.
health and, some of the products that we expose our body to. Could you share a little bit about you, Jeannie? What happened? What you gained from this awareness from doing the 90-day challenge?
Well, I think the biggest part is how the body typically goes through seasons when, we were Neanderthals, basically. And so when you feed it a lot of sugar, it tends to think that, oh, well, it must be wintertime. So we need to store all of this fat and slow everything down for you because there's going to be a famine for food soon. And I was really surprised that that happens without us even thinking about it. And just all of the different names that there are that manufacturers are using for sugar in their foods. It was amazing when you really start learning that and start looking at the ingredients.
Got it. Well, I know that's a factor for so many of us. We're really not aware. We don't look, all right, Tina? Explain
Mhm.
the process. It's like you see something at the grocery store, especially on that end aisle. You don't really
Mhm.
think about what we're putting into your body. You see the sale, you see how they're
Yeah.
marketing it, how they're, and I also have a 7 and 9-year-old. So, Jeannie, it's like, wow, we get a lot of junk in the house and
Yeah.
they're kids, and it's so hard to explain to them, but hopefully they'll learn eventually, but as adults, I hope we all can learn and take so much away from this because what are we doing wrong to our bodies? This is our temple, this is our home,
Yeah.
and there's so
Mm.
many health issues that can occur from eating unhealthy processed foods, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. There's definitely a lot of health issues. And one point I want to make, going back to like labels and things that you see, like sometimes we can look at a label and we're not looking at it close enough, and we might think, oh, it doesn't have any sugar in it. And then all of a sudden we get home and we're just like, something doesn't taste right, or you're tasting something, and then or you just look at the label closer and you're like, oh, I didn't see that when I was looking at the ingredients. So it can be very sneaky how it gets in there. It can be I shouldn't say mislabeled, labeled underneath a different name. So we may not recognize it or realize that it's a type of sugar. So really making sure we're looking at those labels, because I've had my fair share, even with my awareness, where I get home and I'm like, does this have sugar in it? Or I'll see like an artificial sweetener and I just didn't catch it in the ingredients. And so it can be tricky. You really got to pay attention. And when those things sneak into our food, when we're taking them in, then we do have to watch for health issues, because there could be inflammation that's happening. There could be diabetes, prediabetes that's occurring that could be avoided or reversed. There can be autoimmune issues that happen. And then there also can be food sensitivities that start to happen. So then your gut's not feeling right, you're feeling bloated, you might have diarrhea, constipation. There might be things that come with that, cardiovascular issues. And then a big one that really needs to be looked at and addressed is the sense of cancer, because we have so much cancer that is coming up in people's lives, because pretty much everybody knows someone who's dealt with cancer. So there needs to be more awareness about what we're ingesting and also what we're putting on our bodies that might be fueling those potential cancer cells to grow.
Got it. And do you want to share a little bit about, your personal journey with what happened? Tina, I know you brought Jeannie on to talk a little bit about,
Mhm.
your own personal health battle. Is that okay?
Yes. Yes, it's fine with me.
Great.
Um, Back in 2018, when I turned 50, I uh, I had done some hormone therapy, and about 3 months after that, I discovered a lump, and I really thought it was no big deal. My husband said, "Oh, maybe you should go have it checked out." So I did. They biopsied it, and they decided that I not only had triple negative cancer in my left breast, but then I had hormone positive and HER2 negative in my right breast at the same time. Um, I chose to do chemotherapy, but then I really started to look at, well, what am I doing that's causing this? That's always the first thought, but it's not really necessarily something that you're doing. It's
Mm-hmm.
just, it can be a combination of so many different things, even things we're not aware of. Like
Mhm.
Tina said,
Yep.
things that we're eating, even with all of the artificial colors and flavors in our foods, we're not really sure what that's doing to us. So after I beat it and they had no evidence of disease, I did do chemotherapy, but the rest of it I did it with combination of a lot of natural modalities as well, supplements being one, and making sure that I was eating a cleaner diet and using cleaner products, because there's a lot of stuff we put on our skin. There's about 1,800 chemicals that have been banned across the world because they are known carcinogens. The United States has banned only about 11 of those.
Mhm.
So
What?
they, yes, they are free to use these chemicals in their products. Sometimes they can have different names that we don't recognize. I encourage everybody, when you read labels and you see something that you're not sure what it is, just do a
Mhm.
simple Google search. And sometimes it's a scientific name for something natural, but other times it's a chemical that was made in a laboratory and we're not really sure what it can do. Um, but I wrote my book, Fighting Breast Cancer, so navigating natural remedies along with chemotherapy. I opted not to do any of the other treatments that they had for me. But I go over the 8 keys of just what to look at in your health and what you're doing in your life. And you can address those with baby steps, just one at a time. And even if you make just one change today, it's better than not doing any change at
Mhm.
all. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Do you want to add to that, Tina?
Yeah, I think like I've known Jeannie for 10 years, and So I've gotten to know her through our networking groups and everything and collaborating. And, just hearing her story and what she went through and how she addressed it, I found it so interesting because when it comes to something like that, you have to decide what's going to be the best route for you. What's going to be, the way, the direction that you need to go. And I don't know, like Jeannie, what were some of the things that they suggested you to do, but then you opted not to? I was curious about that.
Well, they misdiagnosed me twice with MRI and PET scan.
Ah,
So after I had my surgeries, then to remove what wasn't really left, they said, "Well, we want you to do radiation." And one said, "Well, we want you to do it for 6 weeks," and the other one said, "We want you to do it for 4 weeks." And I'm like, "Can y'all just get on the same page here?" Um, and I decided not to do that because I had heard there is a lot of side effects that go along with that. And I really was not comfortable with those. They also wanted me to take a hormone blocker for at least 5 years. Hormone blockers can be very detrimental to your bone health.
Mhm.
And the way they deal with that is they just give you another medication that builds up your bone density then.
Mhm.
And I just decided for me it was just too many side effects that I just was not comfortable in doing. So I opted to not do either. My oncologist was not very happy with me. But your journey is your own journey and it's different for everybody. And
yeah,
what you feel in your heart is in the end, what's best for you. And
got it.
sometimes it may not just be agreeing with the doctor either. So.
Interesting. All right. Well, what else did you want to share about this journey, this experience? And of course, the best part about it, you wrote a book based on the
Yes.
whole journey that so many people can benefit from. Would you mind talking a little bit about some of this knowledge that you've learned and gained? And of course, now how you're helping others with the publication?
Yes, I have a lot of friends and a lot of people, customers even that have gotten a hold of the book. I have it on Amazon, but it's called Fighting Breast Cancer, Navigating Natural Remedies along with chemo or what other modalities you're doing. I used a lot of supplements during my treatment, which were okayed by my oncologist. Unfortunately, I find a lot of people are telling me that their oncologists are encouraging them not to use any supplements.
Mhm.
And I think that's really a detriment to a lot of people because there is no absolute study out there that says that any vitamin or mineral supplement is going to decrease the effect of any treatments that they're doing at the clinic. Um, so I think it's a shame that a lot of doctors are convincing people that no, don't supplement with anything. I think you should because chemo will wipe out everything.
Mhm.
It will absolutely destroy your immune system. So you really need to keep going with that. And I think because I did that, I really didn't have a lot of the side effects that people typically do.
Yeah.
My digestive system stayed really well and functioning. I didn't have a lot of, pain issues like a lot of people have from the chemo. I also did, uh, it's a therapy called cold capping. So the chemo that I had normally would have made my hair fall out. What
Oh,
they do is they bring your scalp down to about 32 degrees. And during the entire treatment, that keeps the chemo from going into the hair follicles. And
I've
it's
never heard of that. What cold cap?
cold capping. There's a lot
Wow.
of different ones out there, like penguin cold capping,
Okay.
Dignacap. A lot of places offer it. Let some people use dry ice with their own manual capping, and
Okay.
it's for me. It saved about ninety
Ah,
percent of my hair, and people really couldn't tell that I was going through anything. So that was kind of nice for the confidence factor as well, because what you think about matters.
Mhm.
And you can convince yourself of a lot of things. Some of them can be good, and
yeah.
some of them can be not so good.
Mhm.
So that's part of those 8 keys too, is, not only what are you eating, what are you applying on
Mm-hmm.
your skin, but what are you thinking about?
Mhm.
What's your mindset during the whole thing?
Well, thank you for sharing that. And also, I want to hear a little bit about more about the book. What is the title of it? How can we find it?
It is Fighting Breast Cancer, Navigating Natural Remedies, well, in combination with chemotherapy. You can find it on Amazon. Just search my name, Jeannie Gerke, and you will find it. You can pick it up in hard copy, or you can download it on as a Kindle book too. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
What other insights are we going to learn? Did you want to share any more here with us today?
sure. Yeah, if I can.
Sure.
Go for it.
So some of the eight keys are, proactive medical care. Ask your doctor questions,
Okay.
find answers. Don't just, say, okay, I'm going to do whatever. You can look up a lot of these things. Inform self-care. Know what is best for your body. So reducing that toxic load. Anytime you can read ingredients on things, please do so. And try to avoid as much of it as you can. Not to the point where it's driving you insane and crazy and it's causing a lot of stress, but at least to weed out some of it. Because there's a lot of artificial ingredients in our food that's what I learned a lot through the Wild Fit program too. There's a lot of things out there that are just not good for the body that are in what we're eating. Exercise is important. I don't like to call it just exercise, movement. If you can move even 5 minutes a day, it's better than nothing. So you need to do that to keep your lymph flowing because that's the only thing that gets rid of toxins in your body. And if that's stuck, you're not going to be feeling so good. The
Wow.
importance of supplements. Not all supplements are alike, you guys. Just because it's on Amazon doesn't mean that it's necessarily good for you. You need to read the ingredients on a lot of those too, because some of them are not so good. They're not all created equal. Rest and stress. If you're not getting the right amount of sleep, your body's not going to repair any damages that have been done during the day just from breathing. I kind of cringe when people say, well, I get about 4
Yeah.
hours at night. That's good enough. And I'm like, you're not repairing that damage. And then that can get out of control. And then just dealing with the baggage, dealing with
Literally
things
the baggage. Yep.
that you can't let go and seek out different therapists. I know Tina does a lot of work that way too, to help get to that root cause of the mental part of things too, and sometimes it's just holding on to that baggage that holds our health back.
Got it. Thank you for that. What else did you want to share? I mean, other things that we put in our body. I know you mentioned paying attention to the labels, but one thing I was reading was about, I have a 7 and 9 year old and I put sunblock, sunscreen, and this could be bad for them. I mean, for us, for anyone.
Yeah,
Yes.
when it comes to sunscreen, and then I'll,
Oh,
Jeannie, you can totally add to this.
Mm.
But when it comes to sunscreen, they've actually found when I had the stage 0 melanoma removed, I was doing some research and I found that the sunscreens can actually be causing cancer because of the chemicals that are in them. And if you're one of these people, and I know people like this that are constantly spraying, sunscreen all over them. So think about the chemicals that you're putting on your skin, and our skin is our largest organ and it
yeah.
absorbs better than our stomach does. So it's just taking that in. So we need to be aware of the sunscreen. So, and I'll let Jeannie talk about the sunscreen that's in her line because it's a really good one.
Yeah, go
Yeah.
ahead.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you need to be looking for things like phthalates, parabens. These are some of those chemicals that are legal to use here in the US,
Mhm.
but they are known carcinogens, and they can absorb through the skin. What we have a line of sun care items and after sun spray for if you do get too much sun that
Mhm.
can help you definitely be all natural. So it's something that if it absorbs into your skin, which it's going to, it's not going to harm you. And that's what you need to look for. And there are a lot of brands even targeting kiddos. If it's more than SPF 30, you're not going to really get anything better. So if it's SPF 50, it's not going to be any better than 30. Um, I always recommend for people go out and get like 10 to 15 minutes of sun actually every day because it's good for you. It's the only way you can make vitamin D. If it's going to be
Yeah.
longer than that, then make sure that you're using something that is all natural. I don't know if I can say the specific brand that I use,
You
but
can.
I use doTERRA's sun care products.
Okay.
They're really wonderful lotion or spray or even a stick, and they can definitely help to prevent any kind of sun damage, but then they're also all natural. They've even got some essential oils in there that can be really good for your health and your skin.
No, I never heard of it. All right. Thank you so much for sharing that. And what else did you ladies want to discuss for today? And just want to remind everyone, rootsofhealing.org. We're here with Tina. Just, since we're not taking a commercial break, we're going to continue now talking just a little summary, right? And do you want to just talk a little more about some of the summarizing points here for today?
Yeah. So, one thing I want to bring up is to make sure that people are looking at their mental health, like making sure that you're looking at what's going on, because many times cancer, if you look at when it started, if you go back and look a couple years back, there might have been a trauma that happened. And they're saying that there's a connection between those traumas and then cancer developing. And when we're stressed, and we're hanging on to all that baggage, and hanging on to those traumas, those events, those negative beliefs, all of those things, then it's just fueling us, setting us up for some unhealthy moments. So making sure you're
Yeah.
addressing that mental health piece is huge. And then being aware of what you're eating. If you feel like you want to go through a program that will help you look at all those things and guide you through a 90-day challenge, then contact me in regards to that. And Jeannie and I are planning to work together and, supporting each other in everything. So there can be the connections there. Jeannie can help you out.
Okay.
And yeah, so there's both of us can help you out in different ways that are complementary. If I can spit it out.
I got it. Love hearing that. Oh my goodness. And Tina, what did you want to add for today?
uh, or me? Yes. Um, for one, I can't believe that Tina and I have known each other for a decade
Yeah.
already. Wow. That was just a lot. So, wow, that went fast. But yeah, reading the ingredients is key, you guys, and education is key. Just go out there and try and find information that is accurate. If you struggle finding that, because I know there's a lot out there,
Yeah.
some of it's true, some of it's
Yeah.
not. If you need help sifting through that information, I can definitely help you with that. And if I can't, I know Tina can. We've got other resources too that can help you to navigate and get through whatever health challenges that you're going to. There are answers out there, and sometimes they can be very simple answers. So.
Got it. All right. Well, we still have just 3 minutes left in the shows. How did you want to kind of summarize today and the valuable lessons here? And by the way, how did the two of you meet? What was this backstory with this?
At a networking group, I think it was the Fox Valley Women in Business group
Okay.
is what I'm
I think
thinking.
so
Yeah.
too. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's a women's networking group, and it was the first networking group that I ever attended, and it was a
Okay.
great bunch of ladies who are very supportive, that continue to be supportive, those that are still in the group and the new people coming on. So it's been great connections, that's for sure.
Oh, wonderful. Well, thank you again. And remind us how we can contact you, get the book, and then Tina, I'll have you do the same as well.
Yeah, Jeannie, do you want to remind everybody, and then I'll go next?
You bet. It's dreamsofgenie.com. You can contact me right there. You can even get a free ebook when you do that, when you sign up for my email list. I'd love to get to know you better. And you can find my book on Amazon. Just type in Jeannie Gerke, Gehrke, in the search bar, and my book will come up. And I'm really hoping on working on
Yeah.
a sequel to that very soon.
And how do you
So
spell Gurkey? Tell us.
Gehrke.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And Tina?
Yeah, so you can reach me at rootsofhealing.org, and there's a form that you can fill out there, and it will send me an email. Otherwise, you can contact me through my phone number, which is 920-277-6738.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for being here, for joining us, and looking forward to the next time we connect. Thank you again for sharing your story with us, and wishing you both happiness,
Thank you.
health, and hopefully we are connecting again soon, right, Tina?
Mm-hmm.
All right, good. Looking forward to it. Have a fantastic day and pleasure meeting you today, Jeannie. Thank you again.
Thank you.
All
Thank you so
right. Bye bye,
much.
everyone.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.